What's up, everybody? This is B-Bon, and I am back with another Dota commentary. This is another match from the GEST IDC tournament. This is an online tournament, which was mentioned to me several times. Sorry for my mistake. I thought it was a LAN tournament, but no, this is in fact an online tournament. You can find all these replays on GhostOfGamers.net, and you can also find a lot of the VODs casted by gods from Ghost of Gamers on GG.net. But anyways, we are here with the match between Starsboba, the Vietnamese favorites, and G7, the Burmese slash guys from Myanmar, on the Sentinel. Now, Starsboba, they have been inactive since probably late 2011 and early 2012. But apparently they are back, they hopefully are better than ever, and they are making quite a splash in this GEST tournament. We are seeing a lot of different picks from Starsboba that we don't normally see. They picked an Axe one game. They've been bringing back the Clockwork, who has sort of faded into obscurity in both the Dota 1 and Dota 2 competitive scenes. So hopefully we'll be able to see some unusual play. Now, first and foremost, all that serious talk is done. Thanks for 2,000 subs, guys. I really appreciate it. It really means a lot to me. And hopefully I will be able to reward all of you with your support in the upcoming weeks. I will be making a video hopefully by next week, and bring to you all my thoughts on the future and what I'll be doing from then on. So expect that next week. And also, people who are wondering about the quality of my videos, unfortunately, until next week, my quality of videos will have to remain the same. But hopefully you can endure it and just enjoy some high-quality Dota. It's been a while since we've seen Starsboba. G7, I've heard of a couple of times. I think they are the premier Burmese slash Myanmar team in Dota. I'm not too sure how big the competitive scene is over there, but I heard this is a good game. Now let's just talk about the bans and picks for a bit. Lich, AA, Puck, Invoker, Bat, Anti-Mage. Now, Puck, again, hero that we saw a lot of in SMM, and then the Chinese sort of phased him out. He was first pick, first ban material, guys. He was the real deal. He was legit. He was the rising superstar. And now, he's sort of faded away, but he's still very popular in the Southeast Asian Dota scene, where team fights are a little bit more chaotic, there's more ganking, and we're positioning heroes like Puck, who really mess up the other team's positioning with his Dream Coil and with his ridiculous number of escape skills and survivability. Puck is a hero that shines in those scenes. Lich, he's not really first ban material these days. Usually you see heroes like Chaos Knight, Panda, Syllabear, Lycan. In fact, I'm a little surprised that there aren't any Lycanthrope bans. I'm sure he's going to be picked up because he is still the hard carry to beat in the Southeast Asian slash Mid-East Asian Dota scene, and I expect to see the big bad wolf in this game, and hopefully there won't be any little Red Riding Hoods, as in fact Starsboba picks up the Lycanthrope, and we see that Shadow Demon, still a very, very strong pick in the Southeast Asian Dota scene. He's sort of a fringe pick in the Chinese Dota scene, and when he does get picked, it's not with the first 3 picks. He's usually a 4th or 5th pick, but he's a really strong ganker. He counters some heroes quite well, like the Anti-Mage. You throw a Disruption on him and then you burn all his mana away. Disruption is still a very good spell. Soul Catcher provides a ridiculous amount of DPS. He's overall a boss, and if you've seen the Dota 2 model of Shadow Fiend posted on Dota2.com, I recommend checking it out because it's alright. I mean, I was more impressed with Lycanthrope and Syllabear models, and you know me, I'm a big fan of bears, so I was like, oh my god, Syllabear, he looks super cool. Shadow Fiend just looks more of like the love child between Doom and Shadow Demon, sorry. It looks more of the love child between Doom and Shadow Fiend. Maybe that was the look they were going for. Maybe Doom and Shadow Fiend have something going on that we're not aware of, but hopefully it'll be in the tabloids all over the Dota scene, and we can finally get reacquainted with their true relationship. Meanwhile, we see Earthshaker, Windrunner, Panda being picked up by G7. Panda, a pick that is very, very commonly seen in the Chinese Dota scene. Ridiculous teamfight, and he has very innate tankiness that can be taken advantage of in lane, and when his ultimate's over, he's not like useless. I mean, Clap is a ridiculously large AoE. He can provide the Drunken Haze on a carry and provide a 75% miss chance if that carry doesn't have BKB, but they are against Lycanthrope, and the big bad wolf comes into play when Lycan picks up that BKB and becomes very big. Meanwhile, we see CK and Crystal Main being banned. CM would be an okay pick, I guess, for G7 because they want a hardcore support and lay off some of the warning pressures from Earthshaker and get early mana regeneration for Windrunner, Earthshaker, Panda. So pretty good ban, but I don't know if CK was probably the right ban. Maybe I'm not too familiar with the G7. Maybe Starsboba isn't either. They just go with sort of the trending metagame bans and picks. But I'm gonna guess that G7 wanted to pick maybe a harder carry and an additional support. So I don't know, but looks like G7 decided to ban the Vengeful Spirit. Let's see who they banned with the last pick. Keep in mind just some of the, well, it's Starsboba. They played an Axe in this tournament, so I'm not gonna be honestly too surprised with whatever they pick up. But so far, they're playing pretty conventional, but Clock is definitely a hero we've been seeing fading out in both the Dota 1 and Dota 2 scenes. He requires a lot of levels, and his team fight impact is not too great. He's a terrific ganker. He combines quite well in global strategies with his Rocket, and combined with like A, Ice Blast, Furion, stuff like that, as we see the Furion and A already being banned, so he's just going to be played as a straight-up ganker. But his overall team fight presence isn't too strong, and he doesn't scale that well into the late game for how much experience he needs. But it looks like we're going to see a Venomancer being picked up, and G7 counters with the Weaver. Weaver's one of those heroes, he fares okay against Lycanthrope, mostly because he can run the heck out when Lycanthrope tries to eat you. And he can provide a decent amount of DPS, his minus armor with Swarm. Will be good against low armor heroes like the Clock, like the Shadow Demon, I guess. Yeah. I'm out. Weaver, he's just pretty much a standard pick these days. He's been fading out in the Dota 2 scene, but he's still a strong pick in Dota 1, but he doesn't seem to be winning that often, mostly because he needs so many items. He needs tankiness, he needs damage, he needs more damage, he needs more tank, and if you can pick up a hero like a Night Stalker or somebody with good disable, then Weaver is going to be pretty easy to counter. But we're not going to see any of that. In fact, other than like the Clock Hook and the Shadow Demon Disrupt, there's no real hardcore disables on Starsboba team, so Weaver should have a pretty good time. Won't even have to get BKB or anything like that. I don't even think he'll need a Lincolns. It's just Disrupt and Hook and the Venomous Scale by the Venomancer. So expect Weaver to pick up maybe a Hood and a Vite Booster. In terms of his tankiness, he doesn't have to go for Lincolns or Heart. But we're going to see a Lion, so he might definitely have to go for Lincolns now. Lion is also a hero who's been fading out of the scene. He's still seen as sort of support. You don't see Lion in solo mid anymore. Don't expect to see him pick up a Fast Blink Dagger anytime soon. But he's going to be a problem for the Weaver, who's going to get really owned by the massive amount of disables. The Impale, the Hex, the fingering all up your business, and that is quite an unpleasant experience, let me tell you that. Actually, I can't tell you that, because I've never had that happen to me personally. I mean, it's happened to me in the game, and I'm not the biggest fan. Thanks for all the people telling me to clear your throat more often. And I will definitely take that advice. Usually I wasn't a fan of drinking water in the cast because Dota, there's just so many things to talk about that if I take even one small break in the action, then I feel like I'm missing out on stuff. But the last pick by G7 is an Enchantress, a hero who's been trending in Dota 2. Not really seen too much in Dota 1, but let's see if Enchantress goes with the double jungle with the Lion or the Earthshaker. Probably with the Earthshaker, yeah. Because Lion is on the other team. Derp! So it'll be interesting to see how they lane. I'm going to guess a Shadow Demon Lycanthrope lane. I mean, I'm not too sure how Starsboba plays their Lycan. Usually we see Lycans lane a lot more these days rather than go straight jungle. But Shadow Demon and Lion are heroes, and Venomancer are heroes who all really need experience. So maybe Lycanthrope will just go straight up jungle. Meanwhile, we're going to see Enchantress. Let's just introduce the players for a bit. Aiden on the Enchantress. Kalei on the Windrunner, Vercat on the Earthshaker, Kenji on the Panda, and Leo on the Weaver. Meanwhile, we have Rekka playing that solo mid Shadow Demon, so we're going to see a non-supportive Shadow Demon, which I like to see. I mean, Shadow Demon in dual lane isn't too bad, but Shadow Demon Chun I'm not the huge fan of because he really wants to get that level 6 because it is so good in terms of ganking. Meanwhile, we're going to see David on that Venomancer. Just gonna check out these other heroes real fast. Yeah, check them out, man. Yuna playing that Lycanthrope. Batu on the Clock. We're gonna see a dual lane Clock. And the last hero, which is that Lion, it's going to be played by Archie. So Archie, David, Rekka, the mainstays in the Starsboba community, along with Yuna. This is the return of Starsboba, I think. And I think they're playing pretty well this tournament. Let's see how they shape up. It looks like Shouting versus Pen in the mid lane. I mean, Shouting should win this lane if he picks up the proper harassment tools. I don't know if actually Soul Catcher would be the greatest idea or disruption, because Pen is a very innately tanky hero, so maybe Shadow Poison, but Shadow Poison requires so much mana. So even then, I'm not really too sure what skill build Shadow Demon should go for, but he should win the lane through his range and his innately powerful harassment. Looks like Pen is doing quite a good job, already out-denying and outlast-hitting in any case, the Shadow Demon. So Pen, he won't die, and he should be able to pick up his farm. So he may not win the lane, but he's probably not going to lose it either. Like, there's a difference between losing the lane and just not winning it. Like, not winning it means, you know, it's even. Losing it means, you know, the other person is just going to own, and teams are going to flame you for the shitty job you do. But already Pen is taking quite a bit of harassment, still outlasting and out-denying. And looks like an early gank by the Enchantress with the Wildkin. It's going to not drop the Tornado. Instead, the Fissure going to trap the Lion in with the creeps, and looks like Lion is going to drop the Impaler. The Ogre Magi is on a rampage. It's going to get last hit, but looks like they have pincered the Lion, and he is going to be first blood being given to that Enchantress. Going to, yeah, upgrade the courier probably. And since there are no Pinoy teams in this game, so we're not going to see a mass amount of couriers, and probably not as much aggression that we are used to. But Starsboba plays pretty aggressive. They're usually known for more of their famous team fight and just taking advantage of other teams' mistakes. So yeah, meanwhile, the bot lane, I don't expect too much to go on. Looks like Weaver is going to have a pretty difficult time against the Venomancer and the Clock, and looks like they're just trying to push the lane as hard as possible. You see Venomancer auto-attacking, leveling up the wards, and just going to provide some initial pressure to that tower. And Weaver, he's doing some harassment, but he's probably not going to get too much CS, although he does have 8-0, so he's not faring too poorly. Meanwhile, the gank squad of the Earthshaker and the Enchantress comes in with that 600 mana Satyr Hellcaller with the massive amount of shockwaves. Going to drop one right there, but unfortunately Panda's caught on the wrong side, did not drop the Thunderclap, so Shadow's going to say see you and peace out, man. Meanwhile, Windrunner, with that advantage of the early gank, is going to have a pretty good time against the Lion, and she has better overall damage, better overall attack animation, so she should fare quite well against the Lion, although Archie is a little bit more famous than this Windrunner player. Although fame doesn't mean everything, as looks like Lycanthrope is in fact jungling it up. Is going to pop some clarities as the Quelling Blade for easier last hitting and just farming faster. Expect to see, if he's not interrupted too heavily, that we're going to see a very powerful Lycanthrope in the mid game try to pick up Vlad's, Treads, BKB, all within, you know, 20 minutes if no towers are pushed. And if towers are pushed even earlier, as a nice shackle shot manages to latch on Archie and Enchantress with that very, very powerful Wildkin creep. Again, 600 mana. Going to be able to drop down a lot more shockwaves, so he's not totally useless after he drops 2. And he's pretty good in terms of early game DPS, and especially to a hero like Enchantress, who doesn't allow to creeps too long, as looks like they're going to provide a little bit of pressure on that tower. Nope, looks like they're just going to lane it a bit harder, as Shadow Demon combined with Clockwork Rockets just going to annoy the spam to no end. Shadow Poison is skill that's going to be leveled up, and Shadow Demon is going to be able to control the runes quite well, especially if Clockwork continues to drop rockets and push the lane. So Panda, he's not a happy Panda. He is quite a sad Panda in this case. Not going to be able to get the runes at all. Looks like Lycanthrope is retreated to his own jungle. It's going to be safer, but he has to be on the lookout for Enchantress, as Shadow Demon balls a double damage rune. He's adventuring to the top lane, so it looks like he wants to get a gank on. Maybe on that Enchantress, who's been being quite a nuisance. Already managed to get 2 roams off, pick off 2 kills, and looks like he's going to find the Windrunner instead. Windrunner is going to be in a little bit of trouble, but nice micro by the Enchantress, managing to call that Ursa. And looks like the Windrunner is in a lot of trouble. Shadow Demon is attacking. Unfortunately, Enchantress might have popped the heal a little bit too late, but is managing going to pick up a kill on the Shadow Demon, and Enchantress is going to turn around, and with the DPS combined with the heal of the Lion, looks like Lion is still going to pick up this kill because the heal ran out. Unfortunately, Panda is going to come in, and a stomp combined with another stomp by the Panda. Unfortunately, looks like Panda did not drop the stomp, instead gets hexed. A lot of early jungling action going to go down as Panda picks up the kill on Lion. So overall 2 for 2. Looks like they traded a Shadow Demon and a Lion for a Enchantress who was doing quite well, but did not pick up any sort of streak, I think. Enchantress and a Windrunner. Yep, 2 and 2, so she didn't have a streak, she didn't give any bonus bounty gold, and that's pretty significant. You don't want to give up too much gold to your opponent's team in the early game, and most importantly, that's going to give Lycanthrope a little bit more room to farm. You know, Enchantress has to be a bit wary of the Shadow Demon coming to gank her lane when he's missing off the map, and right now Lycanthrope is at that point where he won't lose too much HP when he's jungling. He's already level 5. Meanwhile, Clockwork versus Weaver and Venomancer, or Clockwork and Venomancer. Looks like Venomancer is going to take most of the CS, dropping the wards, just providing constant pressure and keeping the Weaver back. And Weaver, 18-0, so he's farming decently. I mean, 3 CS a minute against a dual lane with, you know, a high potential for burst damage like the Clockwork and the Venomancer. But Weaver now has a time limp, so he can negate a lot of the passive harassment provided by that rocket, provided by those wards, and the Venomous Scale when it is dropped. So Weaver should be okay. He's going to farm slowly, not as fast as Lycanthrope, and it's just going to be a race of time. And this is why Lycanthrope is so annoying to deal with. When he's not interrupted in the jungle, he just farms so quickly compared to most jungling heroes. As Lion just being constantly pressured. Another nice shackle shot by Kalei, and looks like the Lion is going to fall once again to the Enchantress. Enchantress getting quite far. Let's see if she picks up an earlier Arcane Boots, or maybe goes for Mecha. I don't know. Maybe go for a fast Aghanims. Who knows? Looks like the Panda did not fall. Earthshaker instead is trying to pick up some levels, and we're going to see a bottle on Earthshaker, quite old school these days, as looks like everything is dying, as 2 kills being picked up by the Sentinel team. Weaver managed to pick up a kill, and the Panda managed to pick up a kill, so the dual lane of the Clockwork and the Venomancer both fell, and that's going to give Weaver a lot of free farm. Going to probably pick up a Ring of Health quite soon, try to get his lane presence back a little bit harder. But right now, they're going to... I don't think, you know, the Scourge are too worried. Of course, they want to give Weaver any farm, but he's so low HP, and he's not going to be able to time-lapse back too much, so he's going to have to retreat right now. So that's going to buy the Scourge team a little bit of time. Venomancer and Clockwork are going to push the lane a little bit harder, and Weaver without boots, without a Ring of Health, is going to slowly traverse back to his fountain, and not enough mana to Shikuchi a massive amount. Looks like the Shadow Demon and the Lycanthrope, a nice Fissure Trap by the Earthshaker, going to block out the Shadow Demon and the Lycanthrope. The Wolves are summoned on the wrong side of the Fissure. They're on the wrong side of town. But Winter is going to come in to reinforce it. Enchant is dropped on the Shadow Demon. Are they going to pursue this? As Earthshaker does have Bottle, which is something we don't see these days because Earthshaker does not get enough mana these days to get a Bottle. Usually wants to get a lot more higher mana pool through the use of Arcane Boots. But Fissure is just being dropped left and right. Fissure should be cooling down, but looks like Shadow Demon with those boots is going to be able to escape just fine, as this is an online tournament, so save is being called. But meanwhile, keep in mind, Lycanthrope has not been dying. Let's check out his gold really fast. Or he has died. No, he hasn't died. 150 gold. So he should be finishing up the Vlads relatively soon after this, or at least have that Mask of Death. And then once he gets the Vlads, he's just a force to be reckoned with in that jungle. You do not want to mess Lycanthrope in the jungle, as Shadow Demon tops the Invisible Rune, is going to drop a Shadow Poison on the Earthshaker, drop Demonic Purge, but unfortunately, looks like he managed to cancel that Fissure. Nicely done, and the Shadow Poison is not enough. It ticks for 100. One more Shadow Poison is not going to hit the Earthshaker. Earthshaker is going to be escaping just fine, as Panda's coming in for the reinforcement. A rocket is being dropped. They do not catch the Earthshaker. A little bit unfortunate by the Clockwork. He must have guessed Earthshaker is a big fat cow, but man, he's a bit faster than that. It looks like the Lion managed to say, alright, I'm tired of being ganked. They managed to finger up the Weaver, and looks like Venomancer might take the fall instead, but Shackle Shot is going to catch the Venomancer, and he is going to fall. Ward Trap being blocked in, as looks like the Buckler by the Venomancer is going to save his life for now. Really unexpected. No, it looks like he's going to die because Enchantress is there, and he does feed it to the Enchantress. Enchantress gets a double kill, a killing spree, as Clockwork also died. So Venomancer and Clockwork, they are those buddies. No, Clockwork didn't die. Sorry. Who also died? Lion died. But already a 9-3 advantage for the Burmese boys on the bot lane. And the top lane, they'd been really successful in keeping down the Lion. And Weaver's not winning the lane, they're not losing it. But I think a lot of the attention has to go for G7 in terms of shutting down this Lycanthrope in the mid game. He does have the Vlads, and Swarm is not going to latch on to the Lycanthrope. That would have been very easy gold for the Lycanthrope. He would just nommed those Scarabs up. Meanwhile, Panda has that bottle of magic wand and looks like they're going to go in and not do anything. No, Weaver was harassed a bit by the Lycanthrope, and Lycanthrope, he knows. No, he's just going to run as Earthshaker comes in with a nice fissure, blocks Lycanthrope, beautifully done, but Lycanthrope is still too fast, is going to be able to escape from the Weaver just fine, and it looks like Venomancer's there for some reinforcements, and Lycanthrope actually ran the other way, not the right way, as Weaver's going to be able to pick up the kill. I think Lycanthrope would have been just fine if he ran the other way, away from the tower, but instead he gave Earthshaker and Weaver an easy access. I mean, maybe he was expecting Venomancer to reinforce this like Venomancer. Bro, what are you doing, man? Why are you just farming? As it looks like Venomancer might be in a little bit of trouble again. Fissure is coming off cooldown, but no. The wards scout him out, and the Earthshaker was not able to drop Fissure, although he did have mana. Meanwhile, the Sentinel, they're just going to push 10-3 already, the early game advantage. Lions being shut down. I don't think Lycanthrope lost too much gold because he did pick up the Vlads very close to when that game happened, so he probably spent all the gold he had there. It looks like Shouty might be in a little bit of trouble. Can the Panda get in position? No, disruption manages to catch a Panda, but Panda does have ultimate, so they gotta be careful of that as the Impale is being dropped, and Lion is gonna be in a lot of trouble because of that dropped Impale. The enchant goes down, and Lion dies to the Enchantress. Not going well for the Starsboba, but this is kind of what Starsboba is known for. They don't do too well in the early game, to be quite honest. But they come back in the mid game through very nice team fights. They come back with some decent ganks, and they just try to outsmart the opponents in the mid game. But I think 10-3 might be a little bit, or 11-3 might be a little bit too big of an advantage. But keep in mind, Weaver and Lycanthrope have both died, and Lycanthrope has been receiving significantly more free farm. Keep in mind that Weaver was being harassed quite heavily on that bottom lane by the Clock and the Venomancer. Meanwhile, Clock has managed to pick up the Arcane Boots. Looks like they might go for Vlad's attempt. Nope. Just gonna chill. Clock has those Arcane Boots like I just mentioned 2 seconds ago. So it looks like the action is slowly starting to die down a little bit. Just as I say that, Hookin by the Clockwork managed to catch the Windrunner, and no, unfortunately, too high HP for that rocket, and looks like the Earthshaker is coming in. This Earthshaker is just being everywhere along with Enchantress. Really nice ganking, and Enchantress picks up a mega kill. This Earthshaker and Enchantress, they're just playing super well. They are just always in position to drop stun, and this roaming Earthshaker with the bottle is being able to get the runes, refill his bottle, and just be a constant menace to whoever he encounters. A very menacing cow, something you will never hear too often in any scenario of the word, of those words rather. As Weaver is being harassed quite heavily again by these wards and shadow poison. I mean, Weaver, he's only died once, but remember he had to go back to the fountain once. He still managed to pick up the treads and that cloak, so he's going to in fact go for that Hood of Defiance. It's going to be really useful in terms of stopping a lot of the poison nova damage, a lot of the shadow poison damage. But it looks like the Scourge team, noticing that they can't defend the mid lane tower, they're going to siege the top lane, and they should be able to get with those wards and the massive right click damage. And by massive, I mean not very significant at all. The complete opposite of what I just said, but eventually, though, that tower will be worn down, and looks like David managed to pick up the last hit with the help of those wards, so could get some early gold. Let's see how Venomancer goes. I'm not really too sure how Southeast Asians build a Venomancer, but looks like he's going to go for more of the support Venomancer. Going to go for that mechanism, provide a lot of healing, a lot of overall teamfight benefit, and the Arcane Boots I'm sure will be his next item, so he can have enough mana to spam all his spells, drop the Nova, and place the mechanism. But he does have Clock with the Arcane Boots, but double Arcane Boots is not too uncommon, as in fact Shouty picked up the Arcane Boots as well, as Windrunner is in a lot of trouble with the rocket. Unfortunately was not able to kill the Windrunner. But Windrunner is doing just fine in this game. Had a lot of successful ganks, and really Enchantress gank quite fed. Let's just check out her items really fast. Has that Point Booster, Arcane Boots, a double Racer. Is not going to die at all in this mid game. I'd be really surprised if she died. But it looks like this is the part of the game where Enchantress is not as powerful as, say, a Chen, because she does not have easy access to creeps, and she has to defend against pushes, and her impetus doesn't do as much damage. I mean, it does significant damage, but, like, she doesn't have enough mana to spam all of it. But with those Arcane Boots, she should be okay. As looks like the Scourge team noticing that, okay, we're just going to push down this tower, kill everything. As a nice Shadow Shot hits 2, Pen drops the ultimate, and a giant teamfight is going to break out. It looks like Shadow Demon is going to be the first one to fall, as they're going to right-click down the Fire Panda, and Shadow Demon might escape just fine. No, Weaver comes in from the background. Shadow Demon is definitely going to be the first one to fall. As a Hex combined with a Purge, purges off the Hex, and Shadow Demon is definitely going to die. Looks like the Panda form just ran out right now, and Lion is still surviving. Managed to drop Finger on the Windrunner. Nicely played by this Lion player, and Shadow Demon still alive is just buying so much time, but the Swarm combined with the right clicks of the Weaver is finally going to pick him off, as that Shackle Shot combined with the Panda Ultimate. Those are game-breaking teamfight spells, as another double kill is being picked up by the Enchantress. The Lycanthrope is just saying, alright, me and Venomancer are not dying. We're just going to keep pushing towers. And that's one way to combat this huge gold disadvantage that they lost in terms of hero kills. Just get a massive gold advantage in terms of tower kills. They've already picked up 4 towers. Meanwhile, the Sentinel team's only picked off 1, and now the map control is firmly in favor of the Scourge team. Being that they are Scourge, and they do have a Lycanthrope, Roshan should be quite easy to pick off. No Medallion of Courage being picked off, or picked up by the Lycanthrope. Maybe a little bit worried about the Lincoln Spear being acquired by the Weaver, because in this version the Medallion of Courage does no longer dispel the Lincoln Sphere. Keep that in mind. This is the new version, all the games being played. As Panda picks up a Jango of Endurance, quite a standard item, gives him a little bit more stats, a little bit more chasing power, and considering how massive that AoE of the Thunderclap is, he's fearful. I mean, if you look at the overall hero design of Panda, he does not look scary. He looks like a kind, old, drunk panda. But he is scary as heck when he splits into 3, and looks like the Aegis is going to be gotten by the Lycanthrope, but he has quite a little HP. He has to retreat back to the fountain. But Venomancer just doing a nice job in terms of setting up those roster wards basically whenever he wants, and just push back the creep wave. And in terms of anti-push, Clockwork Rocket, Shadow Poison stacking up as teams try to push in, and Venomancer wards, they do significant amounts of damage. It looks like the line is being initiated on. Look, another nice Shackle Shot. These Shackle Shots have just been on point. I have not seen him miss a single Shackle Shot just yet, but the Poison Nova is dropped. Looks like the first one to fall was the Lion, and Venomancer is in a lot of trouble right now, and Venomancer is going to fall as well. So even though they have a very high gold advantage from these towers, the fact that they're dying, the fact that they're giving up so much experience to the Sentinel team, remember, towers do not give you experience. They just give you a lot of gold. And I think this overall level advantage by the Sentinel might be a little bit too difficult for Starsboba to overcome. Let's check out the Weaver gold. Has those treads, has that Planeswalker cloak, 1400 gold in bag. Let's see if he picks up and finishes that hood. He should be picking up that Ring of Health and those 2 Rings of Regen. So, yeah. If that's what he wants, he should be getting those right now, but he might just go straight Relic because he thinks that he's not really in too much danger. Meanwhile, Clock is just not having too much of an impact. 0 and 3. This is the problem with Clock. If you don't get the levels, if you don't get a lot of kills in the early to mid game, you just do not do very well at all. Meanwhile, oh my god, just constant aggression as Panda, not even a Blink Tower, just Phase and Django charges enough to chase down that Shadow Demon. Even with the Purge and the Disruption, not enough. But me, like I said, Lycanthrope is not dying. He's picked up the Aegis, and that's going to be scary. As Enchantress versus Lycanthrope 1v1, this Enchantress is way too tank for the Lycanthrope solo kill, but you should be able to run out just fine. In fact, it's going to just TP out, and Earthshaker is not going to be able to drop an Enchant Totem or an Echo Slam to cancel that TP, so Lycan just says, peace, man. But again, although a significant amount of tower gold is in the favor of the Scourge team, just look at the overall levels from its 18-4 differential. 13, 11, 11, 11, 11, 8, compared to 10, 9, 11, 10, 10. Everybody is level 11 or above except the Earthshaker. Meanwhile, only one person is above, or is level 11 or above, and he is the Lycanthrope, who has not been dying. So, Sentinel, they're positioning themselves to be quite dangerous in the mid-game. Let's just check out what that Weaver picked up with this farm. He did pick up that Hood Defiance. Could be quite far away from that route. Should have the route, hopefully, by 25 minutes, especially if they can pick up some towers. But the Panda Ultimate, he has no Blink Dagger, no easy access to initiation, but these Shackle Shots, again, I haven't seen this winner player miss it. So very nicely done by Calais. 1 and 2, 61-11, but his impact in terms of the game cannot be measured because he has not missed a Shackle Shot. I think these days it's kind of hard to like say you miss a Shackle Shot just if you position yourselves quite correctly, and that's why many people, including, you know, Puppy, Milk, think Shackle Shot is one of the most, it's probably the most broken non-ultimate skill in the game. And considering that it is quite spammable, considering that it shuts down up to 2 enemy heroes for almost 4 seconds, it's pretty broken. and has good range. And even if it doesn't shackle, it starts for 0.75 seconds, which it's pretty good. It's alright. Or is it just a mini stun? I thought it was 0.75 seconds. Maybe that was just level 1. I'm pretty sure the initial, without shackling to anything, it is 0.75 seconds, which is, you know, longer than, say, almost as long as level 1 Jakiro Ice Path, so not too bad. As they Swarm does scout out the Scourge heroes, the Drunken Haze going to be dropped down. Another shackle shot does not manage to latch on. Here I was waxing poetic on this winner player, but unfortunately the shackle shot could not latch the Lion to anything. And looks like they're going to turn around. They're trying to bait the Enchantress a little bit too hard, and Enchantress is going to be purged, but they're focusing the Enchantress. He drops Finger of Death, but Enchantress is so tanked, the clock hooks in, and finally Enchantress dies down, ending Wicked 6 streak. Archie picks up the kill, going to get so much gold. Clock hooked in, and is just going to retreat out, and very chaotic team fight, but overall 1-0, and Yuna all the while pushing that top lane. Meanwhile, Rekka picks up a kill on, Kenji picks up a kill on that Chow Demon. And Clock is going to hook in that Panda, and Lion is here for the support. Going to chain stun this Panda down, so it looks like G7 might have played a little bit too over-aggressive. And this is a problem when you're playing against Lycanthrope. He doesn't care about teams. He can just push towers and just kill you all once he gets a huge item advantage. But he already fixed up that BKB 20 minutes in with a lot of tower gold advantage. He has BKB Vlad's. Check out how much gold he has in the bank. And he has been getting a lot of tower kills, already 1k more gold in the bank. So although it is 19-6, a little bit of the level advantage has been picked back up due to those kills on the Enchantress, giving up a huge streak as another shackle shot. My god, these shackle shots have just been on point, catching the Venomancer and the Clockwork together. And Venomancer going to be chased down. Another power shot, and the Weaver Shikuchi is gonna... They're gonna pick off the Venomancer eventually. Unfortunately, the Disruption manages to overcome the Fissure, and Venomancer is just buying a lot of time, is gonna surely die. No, Lion comes in with the reinforcements. Venomancer is gonna TP out with a little bit of HP. No, Venomancer finally dies. As looks like Lion is gonna be next to the fall. Enchantress doing massive amounts of DPS with that impetus is gonna get that Lion easy peasy. Feed that gold to the Weaver, and he's going to appreciate that because they haven't been picking up many towers, and I don't think he's farming too much because constant advantages on the Sentinel towers are so much pressure. And meanwhile, the Shadow Demon is going to duke it out with the Enchantress. Their heal is on cooldown, and Lycanthrope is going to come in from the backside, going to go for some reverse gang bang action and going to pick up the kill on the Enchantress. So Yuna, don't need to be a team player when you're Lycanthrope. Just kill everything. Kill all the towers, kill all the heroes. Just kill everything. Keep in mind that the score was 18-4, so it's been 4-4, and Lycan's picked up a lot of tower gold advantage. Let's see how many charges he used on the BKB. Only used 1 charge, so he still has that very crucial 9-second BKB charge as we approach the mid stage of the game. And right now, Sentinel, they really need to get a tower. They really need to get some map control. Also, Lycanthrope will just wait till next stage, just pick that off and just cement himself. But just in terms of anti-push, as Clock gets a nice hook in on the Windrunner, unfortunately misses the Cog completely. Panda blinks in for the clap, trying to be a hero, but might just feed as Clockwork gets hooked to the range creep as Panda does split off, so Scourge should retreat. Echo Slam is being dropped, the Poison Nova also being dropped as a lot of residual damage being done to the Sentinel team. Shadow Demon is being focused quite heavily by the Pandas as nobody's dying. The mechanism just healing everybody up. They're going to kill the Fire Panda very easily, and they're going to outlast this Panda ultimate with nobody dying. Not the team fight that Sentinel were expecting. Now Panda might be in a little bit of trouble. No ultimate and disrupted, and just going to be slowed to all manners of lameness. Figure manages to pick off the Windrunner again. I'm sort of a fail Cog. This Cog might be suffering from a little bit of lag, to be quite honest, because this is an online tournament for some reason. Or not for some reason, I guess. This is just an online tournament. So Clock not positioning the Cogs too carefully, but they can push because the Panda ultimate is cooling down. Even then, they're not too afraid. They show we don't care about Panda ultimates, we're just going to fight you. But meanwhile, Enchantress is here, going to pick up the slack and provide so much DPS, but she is blocked by the Fissure, and Panda is going to fall for sure. Clock Hook is forced to be cast. Maybe you should have just waited for the rocket cooldown, but Enchantress might have had the opportunity to heal him up. And now the Enchantress Steel is on cooldown. She does get disrupted, and she might be in a little bit of trouble. She is quite tanky and untouchable, combined with everything. Might be able to, but the Venomous Scale is cast. Enchantress taking a lot of damage, but they're just going to scare her off. Going to pick off another tower. So Starsboba, 22-10, but they don't care. they're just gonna push towers and try to win the game that way, and that's, again, Lycanthrope just does that. Even when your heroes, even when your team is down, if you just push towers, if you far uninterrupted in the jungle, he doesn't care. As Sentinel managed to pick off one tower due to this very, very pushed creep equilibrium on the Scourge side of the map, but Scourge, they're making a comeback. Slowly but surely, they're catching up in terms of hero kills. Let's check out the levels really fast. 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, compared to 12, 12, 15, 12, 12. So I'd say Scourge might be in the overall level advantage, especially with the higher level Lycanthrope, and Weaver is still quite far away from his relic, I think. No, he's not going for relic. He's going for Yasha. I don't know, man. Let me think about this for a second as I drink some water. Yasha on Weaver, it doesn't have the same effect as it might have on other agility carries, because a lot of the reason you pick up a Yasha and go into meta style, it gives you a lot of survivability, and Weaver hasn't been dying, to be quite honest, has he? I mean, he's being fingered. He's 318, so no, he hasn't been dying. He's only died once on that gank on the bot lane with the constant pressure of the clock and the lion and the Veno. But since then, he hasn't died. And Yasha move speed is kind of null and void against a Lycanthrope. And you're a Weaver, you do have max move speed like every 4 seconds. So I'm not too sure if Yasha is really the correct build to go for. Maybe he just feels he wants to do a little bit more DPS, but I would maybe he felt like getting a relic would be a little bit too late in this stage of the game, and I can see where he's coming from. But Yasha is 2200 gold, and I think relic, as long as the Weaver lives and just survives, it just does so much residual damage. I mean, look, Venomenter is able to fight this Weaver one-on-one. And might just win. Now he's just going to TP out. Meanwhile, looks like on the bot lane, they managed to pick up another kill on the Windrunner, and Lion is going to be ganked. But Panda is just going to get reverse gangbanged up in here. And again, the cogs miss, but Earthshaker blinks in with a nice Echo Slam. And combined with the Enchantress in the cogs, this is not one place you want to fight the Enchantress. But unfortunately, even though they had the Blink Dagger, or that wasn't a Blink Dagger, even though they had Earthshaker dropping a huge ultimate, and Weaver just cannot do enough damage to bring off these people, or else he'll just be ganked upon by the Clockwork and the Shadow Demon. They're going to pick Rocket where the Weaver is, but now they're just going to pay him no mind. And just going to keep pushing. Already, Weaver being picked up in the Lycanthrope. So G7, they're not faring so well in this mid game, even though, you know, they picked off so many kills. They had a huge level advantage. But the constant pressure by the Lycanthrope, by the Clock Rockets, by the Venomancer Wards, just could not let G7 get towers with their mid game, and I guess they are feeling some lag issues, as still spiking is the call from Aiden, the Enchantress player. Meanwhile, let's check out Earthshaker. Did he have the Blink Dagger? No, he just managed to position himself quite well. But even then, that was still not enough. And Enchantress, when you're right up close and next to her, your impetus doesn't do him enough damage to really warrant, you know, too much attention. You can just sort of focus on her allies. And being trapped in the cog does make an impact. And right now, I think we're really seeing the downfall of a Weaver pick. He just needs so many items. And if the other team can just tank it up and just push against him. I mean, Swarm is a decent anti-pushing skill, but it does have a 22-second cooldown, and you can just kill the bugs. Looks like Scourge, they're quite satisfied with their Roshan kill. Again, Aegis being on the Lycanthrope, he still hasn't died since he picked up that first Aegis, since he was ganked in the jungle. And he has a Reaver, and I think he might be close to unkill, but at this point, Panda blinks in, initiates, drops the ultimate, but it looks like Shouting just going to stall for time with the disruption, and they're going to try to focus on the Lycanthrope, but he does have BKB, he's going to pop it relatively soon, but Fissure just causing so much havoc in the team fights. Enchantress dropping heal, going to do a lot of damage. Looks like Shouting is going to be the first one to fall, so one kill going down. Unfortunately, Earthshaker is going to be next one to fall to the Clockwork Rocket, as Lycanthrope is still doing so much damage, and Pen ultimate finally runs out, and Shackle Shot drops, beautifully catching Clockwork once again, and Weaver should be able to pick up the kill on this Clockwork. No! Lion fingers down the Panda, and Weaver is forced to run for his life, and still might die to the poison damage if they just notice where the Shikuchi path went. No, they're just gonna let Weaver be, and I don't blame them. Weaver is just not very significant at this point in the game. Doesn't do enough damage. Look at how tanky the Scourge Heroes are becoming. Clockwork innately tanky. Venomous picked up an Aghanim Scepter, going to provide huge residual amounts of damage, and the mechanism on the Windrunner. If Windrunner is the first one to fall, although she didn't fall in this fight, then, you know, that Poison Nova is just going to do so much damage. Even if she doesn't fall, upgrade Poison Nova at level 16 does like 120 damage per second over 16 seconds. Ridiculous damage. Scourge are going to keep chasing, going to try to kill the Type Stars. Lion, even now, the impetus is not doing too much damage. Echo Slam is dropped just for Lion, as they are going to pick him off. But Lion just runs the other way towards the Fallon and just gives the Scourge a lot of time. Nicely played by Archie, just recognizing, alright, you're going to kill me. I'm just going to run the complete opposite way. Are you going to let me TP out by a TP scroll and TP out, or are you going to defend your Rex? And I think the Sentinel realizes they can't defend their Rex at this point in the game. And, yeah. Starsboba in a commanding lead at this point, even though they are down by 9 kills, and Venomancer does take the fall to the impetus damage by the Enchantress. 4 staff not even completed, and just the massive amount of towers going in favor of Starsboba, just giving them enough advantage. And this is... God, Lycanthrope is so annoying, man! He is single-handedly changing the pace of the game, bringing back his team from an 18-4 deficit, not even by getting kills, just by pushing when his teams are just fighting 4v5. As BKB has the heart, probably going to go for an AC or something next, maybe a Dezo. Maybe he could just go for like freaking E-Blade, even though he doesn't have a nuke or anything, and just prevent himself from attacking. He'd still win the game, I mean, because E-Blade's broken. But he could just like troll up the other team, and I'd still think that Starsboba has the advantage. And right now, the level advantage and the tower gold advantage might be a little bit too difficult. Weaver, again, Yasha. I think... I still feel like if Weaver had the relic, even if it was a late relic, he's been surviving a lot of these team fights. He's 3-1 still. Just has not been getting any farm. 32 minutes in the game, 95 CS on Weaver is something you're not expecting. And 3-1, it's not like he's getting too many hero kills either. He's 3-1 in 11, but I think a lot of those assists in the team fights could have been more appropriate in the early game than in just farming. Because assists, they don't give you as much gold, it's just straight up farm. So, yeah, I think if Weaver had the Radiance, I think he would have had it by this point, 32 minutes in. As long as he survives, Radiance just does a lot of residual damage. And if you can stall for time, you can eventually push back the waves. But even then, I think Lycanthrope would just be too tanky, would just push back the other team and just do so much damage. As Lion, he has been dying a lot. Managed to pick up a Ghost Scepter. He's going to be a little bit impervious to that Weaver right-click damage. Shadow has the Pipe. Clock has Blade Mail, going to go for Ags. The next Panda is going to be disrupted. And now the Sentinel, they're trying to get a tower trade, maybe on the top lane, but now Weaver is forced to TP back, as Lycanthrope just gonna chill in mid lane, taking a lot of damage, just gonna try to kill the Earthshaker right off the bat, as Lycanthrope is gonna, I mean, he still has Aegis, so it doesn't really matter at this point, as Panda has not used his ultimate at this point, finally pops it, and yeah, I mean, the Scourge Heroes are still at full HP, basically, as I think Windrunner was the first one to fall, as Enchantress dies to the constant pressure by Archie, the Lion player, or maybe that's Venomancer, I don't know. Lycanthrope gets Cyclone. I think he did not lose the Aegis, so that was just heart regen. My god. Lycanthrope is just a beast. Rekka, Shadow Demon's gonna fall. Echo Slam is being dropped. But Blade Mail damage just kills the Earthshaker right off the bat. Nicely played by the Clockwork Bat 2. Yeah, Starsboba. They're gonna win. Who saw that coming? 18-4 disadvantage. Then again, like, if there's one hero who can come back from that advantage, you know it's Lycanthrope. He's just so insane. This Panda is being hurt down quite a bit more, and Starsboba again coming up to an early start, but just outsmarting their opponents. I think just recognizing, all right, we're giving up a lot of kills. Just push towers instead. It is defense of the ancients, not defense of the heroes. Although sometimes they are one and the same. But unfortunately, Sentinel Heroes, I don't think they picked enough pushers or counter pushers. Enchantress, again, in the mid game, cannot do She can push okay in the early game, but in the mid game where she doesn't have as easy access to the creeps, she wants to be in the middle of things, providing the heal and the impetus damage. She doesn't do that as well. As Clockwork is definitely going to die to the right click, and Weaver very close to his Manta Style, but 40-minute Manta Style, even then Manta Style doesn't give you too much damage. Usually like plus 30 or something. Very minor. So this game pretty much over, but G7 not going to give up, representing their country, Myanmar, or Burma, if you want to call it that. Relic being picked up by the Lycanthrope. He did lose the Aegis, might just go for Rapier. Or go for Abyssal Blade, best item in the game, bar E-Blade. He can go whatever he wants. Again, he can go for friggin' E-Blade and just disable himself from attacking and do no damage because he has like really bad agility. And they've stolen the game. But G7 gonna try to hold on, make this replay a little bit longer, so people will download it more and think it's much more epic. And it was a very good game. Like freaking 18-4 deficit. You do not expect a team to come back from that. Starsboba, they are just very intelligent players, and they know. I mean, I feel like if they played the early game a bit more and a bit better, then I feel like they'd be one of the best teams. And they might still be one of the best teams in Dota 1 at this point. If they switch to Dota 2, they will be something to fear, quite honestly. As Lion and Shoudian being caught in the midst of pandas and shackle shots and bears. Oh my, no bears. Lions, tigers, and bears. Nope. Ye Ghost Scepter just gonna be chilling out. Blink Dagger Earthshaker has been blinking in, dropping Echo Slams, dying because his team has no damage. That's what it comes down to. I mean, in terms of individual ganks, I mean, Sentinel were ganking by just fine in the early game, but once the Tower Gold advantage caught up, once the Scourge started to get tanky, you really saw the lack of damage, especially once Weaver went for that Manta Style, which he does have at this point. I mean, just... this is one of the games where you just say Penultimate was not very significant at all. Like, they just know what to do. Maybe that's the fault of the Panda player, maybe that's the fault of the overall team fights being picked up. I can't really say for sure, as Venomex is going to die, and Shoudian might be falling as well, so G7 still picking off some decent amount of team fights, but I don't think Lycanthrope. Yeah, Lycanthrope is just killing Arax. And he pops the BKB. He's going to pick off the melee because the creeps are in the base on both the lanes. No, he's just going to run away. What a... He's a fail wolf. Speaking of wolves, Dota 2 Lycan model. Pretty cool. Unstoppable Weaver, really significant at this point in the game because he went for Manta Style. Yeah, even though G7 is winning these team fights, I honestly, they don't have a chance. So yeah, GEST IDC tournament, very nicely put on tournament. I think this was run by Ghost of Gamers because Gods was the main caster. But correct me if I'm wrong, online tournament, and Ghost of Gamers providing a lot of help for the Dota 1 scene to continue. So gotta be thankful for that. But hopefully in the next weeks I can cast some Dota 2 matches. Keep a lookout on the channel. Keep supporting me, keep subscribing, and I will hopefully be able to keep entertaining you. I don't think this is one of my best casts, but I mean, there's so much you can harp on when you feel like a team comes out to an advantage and then they just slowly but surely get pushed down. You're just going to talk about stuff over that duration. And this is a 50-minute long game, so you're going to harp on certain points, and eventually you're just going to get sick of me saying, okay, Vion, please shut the fuck up. Like, honestly, you've said that same thing over and over again, but they decide to gank the Lycan at the Roshan, but unfortunately Lycan's allies are all here. Weaver is forced to time-lapse right off the bat, meanwhile Scourge Heroes are still off HP. Clockwork just cogging in his ally for the lulls, and Weaver has no time-lapse, is going to be dead. He did. No, he fine. Panda just like AFK has the shackle shot. It's a lot of heroes. Credit to G7. They played very nice and early aggressive Enchantress. Windrunner played very well, constantly latching on shackle shots. But I think when you pick a Panda, you want to have more of an effect. I don't think that's really the fault of the Panda player. Maybe just the overall team strategy. I don't think the G7 loss can be attributed to like any one player. It might just be attributed to the overall, you know, Smart playing by Starsboba, just outthinking as everything dies. Shadow even dies. Earthshaker gonna die. Your mama gonna die. Radiant's being picked up. Not Abyssal Blade. I am disappointed, Yuna. I'm a little bit sad right now. But still, Yuna. Pops a BKB. Could probably just fight the Panda, just lifesteal it up, because he won't be affected by Dragon Haze. Hulk gets expertly juked, but Lycanthrope is just going to lifesteal up and be fine. Because Lycanthrope is a very, very fair and fun hero to play against. I think we all know at this point. Although he does look quite badass in Doa too. Especially the wolf form. The last Drax under siege. Defense of the Ancients come down to its pure sense. Now, wolves. And wolf. Yeah. That's pretty much game. GG being called by Aiden. We'll pull down the final score screen. I think I've sort of, harped on, the mistakes, the thinking process of Starsboba, the mistakes of G7, just the overall game state. So, you can look at all the score screen. I think a lot of the GEST replays have been done, or I don't want to cast too many of them because I don't think Nebula has casted any of the replays in the tournament, so I'm sure he'd like to cast a couple of those. Luminous has casted one. I know Doc is coming back and is going to cast one eventually. So I don't know how many more GEST IDC replays are going to be available for me to cast. Maybe I can dual cast with somebody. I'm not too sure. But keep in mind that over the next couple weeks, I will be casting, hopefully, Dota 2 and Dota 1. Again, see my video that will come out next week explaining all of my future things. But yeah, in terms of Dota 1, I want to cast old DTS games where they just sort of, dick around, have fun. Those are sort of the games that I like the most. But if you have any suggestions for really nice games that haven't previously been like double casted by Luminous, like that YYF Storm game or stuff like that, if it's a game that he casted a long time ago, if it's a game Nebula casted a long time ago, I might look into that. If it's been casted like recently within the past 6 months, then I probably won't cast that. But yeah, give me suggestions, give me what you want to see in terms of Dota 1. Hopefully we'll just keep waiting for more replays to be released on GhostofGamers.net. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Keep supporting me, please subscribe. And yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed this game. This is B-Ball, and have a fantastic day.